tinawagan ako ng doctor's office and they said, hey, Audrey, you have to fly back to Vancouver. We get the results. And I'm like, why? So they said, well, we've seen something on the scan. We can say it over the phone. There's an option to abort the baby.
Hello mga Kumaresians! Welcome to Speak with Grace, and this is an episode of Mars Attack. So here in Speak with Grace, we will talk about life and its wisdoms. Dahil Speak with Grace, kailangan syempre may kausap ako, no? So I am so happy na pinaunlakan ako ng aking guest ngayon, and she is a very good friend of mine back in college pa. So it's a long friendship na po. And she's now located in Vancouver. My guest this day is Audrey. She is the founder of HuroKids. And so we will listen to her story at bakit kaya natin siya gines ngayon. So let us welcome Audrey.
Hi everyone! Big hello from Vancouver. Musta po kayo?
Yes. Okay, so thank you Audrey for being here sa aking segment, and marami tayong pag-uusapan ngayong araw na to. So we will start now. Si Audrey, nakilala ko nung college ako. So she is very free-spirited, spontaneous, adventurous, very happy. Ano ang changes na nangyari sa'yo when, syempre, you married Walt and then you had Hugo, your first son. So, ano yung major changes na nangyari sa'yo noon when you had your family?
Well, I'm still the same spontaneous, adventurous Audrey. I think I'm still the same person. It's just that, like, when I became a mom, I think the biggest change was, like, I tried to take life more seriously, and like, my first son was born, Hugo. Things are still pretty much the same, but when you have a child, it kind of changes how you see things and your perspective in life and your priorities as well. And then my second son, Roman, he was born with cleft lip and palate, and that definitely changed the course of.
Merong special na condition si Roman na kailangan din ng very special attention and care. When did you learn na he had a cleft lip and palate, no? Both conditions, no? Meron siya. So, when did you learn na meron siyang ganun?
I think it was on the 20-week scan. Found out, like, I think when you're pregnant, you're excited, like, 20-week scan, oh yeah, boy or girl. And then we found out I was in Kelowna, which is, I think, it's 5 hours drive from Vancouver, or an hour flight. So tinawagan ako ng doctor's office and they said, hey, Audrey, you have to fly back to Vancouver. We get the results. And I'm like, why? They won't just call you and say you have to fly back to Vancouver because they know I'm in Kelowna. So they said, well, we've seen something on the scan. We can say it over the phone. And but there was like a timeline because I think it was about 22 weeks or 20 close, like it's past 20 weeks already. So they want me to fly because there's an option of there's an option to abort the baby at a certain number of weeks, and they want me to fly as soon as I can because I think I only have like 6 days left before or I don't have a choice to abort if I want to abort. So I flew back the next day, first flight to Vancouver. The doctor wasn't very compassionate when he said it. He's like, a matter of fact, like, the scan says that your child has possible cleft lip and palate, and that's it. And I'm like, okay, so what's the next step? And he said, well, go to BC Women's. BC Women's, dun yung lahat ng mostly mga nanganganak sa Vancouver. Go to BC Women's and they'll tell you what's the next step. So I left the clinic crying and not knowing what to do next. It was, I think, sa buong journey with the cleft lip and palate, that was the hardest part. When you know what you're gonna do and you don't know what to expect.
Dito sa Pilipinas, abortion is not legal, and also we are Catholic Christians. It is not really a practice for us because we believe that life is really important kahit nasa tiyan pa lang yung baby, kahit ano pa lang siya, early stage of pregnancy, it is already live, no? Pero anong nasa tumatakbo sa isip mo during that time? Was there did you entertain that option?
No, heck no. Like, sorry. Of course not. Like, it's not even an option. So the hospital keep calling me, and then I think my mind is not there. So it's like, I'm processing what happened, and then so Walt talked to the hospital, and then he said, not an option for us. Like, regardless of whatever the outcome is, Cleft without Cleft, Audrey will keep the baby. And I think from then I've never, like, I asked the doctor, like, is the heart okay? Is everything okay? I said, if everything's okay, like, I'm fine. Like, I'll do my regular checkup.
Pero during that time, alam mo yung itsura or the gravity of what you will encounter or yung pagdadaanan mo in the next few months or years?
No, I think at that point, as a Christian, you were kind of hoping for a miracle. Like, I prayed and fast for, like, I kind of, like, separate myself from everybody. I never told, other than my mom, my dad, my immediate family, and Walt's immediate family, and then, like, I think a couple of friends that prayed with me, and some of my friends fasted as well. And it's like you believe God for a miracle, that the medical system is wrong, and of course hindi naman ako pwedeng mag-fasting sobra kasi I was I was pregnant, so I stayed away from social media. Like, I stayed away from that and just believing God for a miracle. I wrote my journal. I went to my prayer closet, pray about it, and I think as I get closer to the big day, I just have this sense now it's not gonna change, and he's gonna be born with cleft lip and palate, and I just have that peace in my heart that regardless of what happens, I'm gonna, it's gonna be okay. And I think as I was praying, like, over those months, it's like, I feel like God was telling me that I'm gonna be born with cleft, and his story is gonna change lives. And I'm like, why me? Like, you have the fear because, like, it's like cleft, it's open, and you think about, like, how are you gonna feed him? Paano yung speech niya? Is he gonna get bullied in school? Wherever he goes. So like, we've seen so many. We've seen few people in the Philippines na hindi na operan yung cleft lip. Even in my small town in Pangasinan, there's this man. He was I can't remember his name, but they tease him, like, it's I think he passed away without having his surgery because, like, nung bata, he was probably in his, like, 50s or 60s, and they call him Ngongo, and they, like, throw stones at him, and it's like, I think siya yung una ko naisip. I don't really know his name, but it's like, how is life gonna be? And of course, during that time, I didn't really entertain the idea of, like, researching about cleft because I'm believing God for a miracle. And then I think 2 weeks or 1 week before I gave birth, my doctor talked to me, and she said, Audrey, you should go to the cleft clinic. They're not gonna do anything, but, like, I just want you to be ready when your baby's born. Like, if there's a miracle, then it's good. But if he's born with cleft lip, you need to know how to feed him. You need to know how to care for him. And I think yun yung eye-opener sa akin na parang, okay, I should go. And Walt was like, no, how's your faith? I'm like, well, you know what? I think at this point, I'm okay. I just want to know how it's going to be. Because I think I will be more disappointed if I don't go to the cleft clinic and then he's born with cleft and I don't know how to feed him. So, yeah, so he wasn't in agreement with that, but I still ended up going. And I'm happy that I did.
Siguro the miracle that you prayed, hindi sa exact package dumating, but I think the acceptance that you had, the peace that you had, that is the miracle that God gave you during that time.
That is one. And then, fast forward to this is Roman is turning 4, so 3 years later, like if I look back 3 years ago or 4 years ago when I was pregnant with Roman, I would never thought that I'll be doing what I'm doing right now, like
Yes.
raising cleft lip and palate awareness, raising funds for to help families that are born with cleft lip. And sometimes I don't even recognize myself. I'm like, I feel like I'm a totally different person in a good way. Like it's like I think if not for cleft, I wouldn't have that kind of like a mom empowerment or something. And I think now um, it changes your perspective. Like from being this selfish person, you see more that there's more to life. These kids that we help, they don't even know us. They don't even know our names. Like they won't even get to say thank you to us. Like, but it doesn't matter. Like you change a life. Their life has changed forever, and I think that's good enough.
Sabi mo nga din sa isa mong post, motherhood taught you that there is a place in your heart that you don't know it exists.
Oh, totally.
I saw your different photos of Roman undergoing the different surgery. So, hindi siya one time lang, di ba? So, it was series of procedures na ginawa sa kanya. Right? So, every time na pumapasok siya sa operating room, what was your prayer then? I think, syempre, it is very painful for a mother to see your child going through those procedures. The fear na, what if hindi maging successful? Ano yung mga naging thoughts mo during those times?
Honestly, at that time, it was a blur because, like, having a mother who's 14 months old. Oh, yeah, they're 14 months apart. So, and then I have to go to hospital. So, like, I had to stay in the hospital with Roman and while stay at home with Hugo. And during those times, I think you're scared. Because like you have I think Roman had his first surgery at 4 months. You're going in surgery, and then at 4 months, they're gonna go under, and who knows what's gonna happen, right? But I think the hardest part is like after the surgery, when we take them home. Here in Canada, it's only like a 1 day stay in the hospital, and then they send us home. And then like, how am I gonna care for this child? Like, he keeps crying. Feeding him is so different. You're gonna manage the pain. But you just like, I think during the time I just thought of like, okay, this is gonna be hard now, and you know what, he's not gonna remember this pain. It's gonna get better, and of course after 2 weeks he got better. I got a new smile, and then the second surgery, the cleft palate, it's the same. I think it was harder kasi mas intensive yung. But they did it pretty soon. Like I think at Roman was a year and a month. We got delayed kasi nagkasakit na twice, so they have to cancel. Pag inuubo kasi sila pala dito. Kasi magkakaroon ng so yeah, so they did the surgery. But after that, like now we're fine kasi like everything worked out well. I think the next surgery is for the job. But yung underbite niya is different, and then when you open his mouth, it's a little bit different. So mag-bone graft siya, and then we put like
you are really blessed na you are at the right place at the right time. Kasi kung dito nangyari yan sa Pilipinas, I'm not sure kung everyone here in the Philippines can enjoy that privilege, that opportunity to be na makorek yung kanilang cleft lip and palate. And I agree with you. It's really difficult here na yung kwento mo nga kanina, the bullying. So, punta tayo doon. Fast forward. Kailan yung first time mong may narinig na negative comment about Roman?
Well, I think not me exactly, because like people in general, when they see a baby and then they're excited to see a baby, and then of course when they check the baby's stroller, he has his tape for like 4 months, and they're pretty, like, like they don't know what to ask, and then you can see they're a little bit shocked, but it doesn't offend me because, like, it's human nature. Like like I know they feel compassion towards my son, but they just don't know what to say. So I think I'm fine with that. But like I think Walt had an incident once. One of the delivery guys on he dropped off something at the door, and then he's asking, "What's wrong with your son's face?" Um, but that was after the surgery kasi at the time hindi pa masyadong ayos um, yung face niya. And then Walt was like, "What do you mean? What's wrong with my son's face?" Like he is a little bit ignorant that way. So Walt was like, "Nothing's wrong with his face. Your own business." it's I think that was the only time, and so far, like, he's 4. I haven't had any experience of like bullying.
That sobrang blessed ni Roman na both parents were able to accept it at the earliest time possible. Kasi sometimes, nandun yung stage na in denial or maybe all the fear na nakasama nung condition, doon nakafocus yung tao eh. So sometimes, natatabunan niya yung goodness about the condition, the situation. So, this 4 years, and now I see him parang walang problem. Parang as if walang nangyari. Sabi mo nga kanina, he will not remember the pain na nangyari sa kanya early on. But, dumadating ba yung time na kinikwento mo sa kanya kung ano yung nangyari?
Oh yeah, like I show pictures to Roman. This is your picture when you were born, and then of course I have brochures here from Operation Smile, and then I educate my kids. Like you go with us, like like the other day nakita niya yung brochure ng Operation Smile. Like, "Mom, like what happened to the baby's face? Is he ouchy?" I said, "Yes, he's ouchy. Remember when Roman was that age, he had ouchy?" And then Roman was like, "Yeah, me ouchy baby." So he knows he knows that he was born with cleft lip and palate, and I think it's a good thing. Sometimes if because we're still working with his speech. So a 3-year-old, they can speak very clear. So with Roman, some sounds are still nasal, and we are working on that part. And I think the other day, what broke my heart was like the kids were brushing their teeth, and I think Roman noticed his teeth. He's like, "Mom, broken." So he's showing me because he compared to you. I said, "Sweetheart, it's not broken. It's how God made you, and it's okay." And he gave me the biggest smile. And he's like, "Okay, Mom."
The innocence of a child, nandun talaga yung talagang preserve nila yung goodness na meron na binigay sa kanila ng Lord. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sabi mo, it's okay na ganun yung condition. And I think the love of the mother, it's so overwhelming para hindi niya maramdaman kung ano man yung consequences of what happened to him. And ang ganda rin ng naging response mo with what happened, no? So I sabi mo kanina, you founded this business para you can give back.
In Canada, it's covered by our insurance. So in BC, it's covered. So like we just go to BC Children's, and then there's a Cleft team. From speech, from dental, surgery until I think he's 18, everything's covered. But I think Operation Smile, I heard about them years ago, and then one time I was watching late at night, and I saw an ad about Operation Smile, about cleft lip and palate, and the one that I watched was in Africa or in Brazil, where this family had to cross a river, and then they had to walk for days just to get to the city where Operation Smile was doing surgery. And then that made me think of the days when I used to take Roman to the dentist to adjust his dents. And I'm like, some mornings I'm quite grumpy because kulang sa tulog. But here I am driving my car. I still have time to go to Starbucks, grab a coffee, and pay for parking. And really, when you think about it, I only have to pay for my parking and my coffee. Like everything's covered by the government. And so, and then here I am watching Operation Smile. You know, you see families, and you know, growing up in Pinas, you know how like a lot of people can't afford a surgery. Like they can't even afford to go to a doctor and pay for their meds. So you see these stories. I was crying. Like, you know, like, what am I gonna do? Like it's just heartbreaking to see, like, you know, like it's so close to my heart. And at that time, I've always wanted to start a baby clothing line. I just don't know how to start it, what to do. And I think that was one of my motivation. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start a business that that should be able to give back to the community. You know, I plan to do it long term, so it can be so we can help more. But of course, running a business, you know, there's a lot of expenses as well. But I think, you know, when I started it, like my heart is just, you know, to give a portion of proceeds to Operation Smile. Like it doesn't matter how big or small, but it's, you know, I'm giving a portion of proceeds, and like child, one life, one child, and that makes a huge difference.
Because awareness is not enough, di ba? You must do something about what you know, what you have experienced, and I think you have been touching lives, you know, with your stories, with what you do.
Yeah, I think the best part of it is like, I think for me, you know, there's that part of giving back. Um, but I'm not on the field. I don't like one day I would love to go with my kids and like join, like talk to the moms at the surgery and then just see firsthand what they're doing. But I think during COVID, because like HuroKids, it's not even 2 years. It's only like a year and a half old. But like with that, we've raised so much awareness. I can't imagine the things that I've done in the last a year and a half. Like, you know, like speaking up, and like I used to be like, bahala kayo dyan. I watch I watch Wendy Williams show mocking Joaquin Phoenix cleft lip, and I'm like, I gotta say something, and you know, like grab, like I think that's how it started. When that's how I met a lot of moms and a lot of people in the cleft community, and I started emailing all this media here in Canada and in the States, CNN, Global TV, and like, you know, you guys gotta cover this. And then I met Adam Big Hill. He is one of the big, like he plays for Winnipeg Bombers. So he's like our champ. So he was the one who, like, he has the bigger voice for left community. And of course, from there we met a lot of moms, a lot of families, and yeah, I think, you know, being here and during COVID, I can't be in the mission field, or I can't join it. One of my favorite is like awareness is like meet moms who are pregnant with their kids. You know, they're just at the very early stage, and I wish I have an Audrey at that time that can actually guide me through it. So like I've seen the need in that part, and it's how we start. Like, okay, you know, just reach out to me if you need anything. I actually have a new project that we haven't launched yet, but this is separate from the This is mainly for Cleft.
Malaking factor yung meron kang support group. Now, with everything that you are going through, may it be this condition or maybe other conditions, it's important that you have a support group. Kasi yung mga natutunan nila, those who went ahead of you, yung mga natutunan nila, they will teach you on how to handle those things, and it will really make it easier for you. No, yung pinagdadaanan mong yon. And you are so blessed that you have the group of people na you had before. Sabi mo, di ba, you have your friends na talagang tinulungan ka to pray, to be with you during that journey. And that is very beautiful. That is very important, lalo na sa panahon nito. And we cannot really put into words kung ano man yung pinagdaanan mo. I know it's very difficult back then. Tama ba? It was difficult back then. Pero now, looking back, ano yung talagang natutunan mo from that journey?
I think my biggest takeaway is like, you know, we don't know, you know, like we don't know the big picture, and sometimes, like as a Christian, like, you just gotta trust that everything under control. And, like, it's like, this is what you see, and then the big picture is here. And, like, it's sometimes your prayer is not like, I think, when you pray, God will either he'll answer yes, no, or like yes, no, or like we'll see, or you just wait and see. And I think that's what happened to me. Like, it's not a yes, it's not a no, but like, just trust me. And I did. And if I could turn back time, I think I wish I didn't worry that much and just keep living life. So yeah, I think when you're in a difficult situation like that, you just gotta look at the bigger picture and say, okay, what is the lesson that I'm learning right now? And just live in the moment and enjoy the moment. Don't even worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow has its own worries and cares. So like, just live in the moment, trust that everything's gonna be okay. Do your best, and yeah, just go with the flow.
Ano ang message mo for those na who are also undergoing the same condition, and lalo na dito sa Pilipinas? Diyan kasi it seems to be easier. Nandyan yung guidance, nandyan yung help na kailangan. Maybe some few words dito sa other parts of the world na it's difficult to deal with this kind of condition.
I talked to a few moms actually sa Pinas when like few friends connected me to some moms there, and I think I would say this whether you're in Canada or in Philippines or in Africa, and I think my encouragement is you as a mom, you have to stay strong, and you gotta pray for your son, and knowing that things are gonna be okay. But like thank God, it's a gift to be a mom of a cleft child, because it's God is making you stronger than you think, and you just gotta trust the process. There are days when it's hard, but when it's hard, the only way to go is to keep moving forward. And you are, as a mom, you are your child's biggest advocate. So like you're gonna be a mama bear. So whether like there's prayer, there's awareness. I think ang mahirap lang sa culture natin sa Pinas is like sometimes people are just so tactless with what they say and how they say it. And I think if I'm in the Philippines and that happens, I might just like like you guys, like that's you shouldn't be saying that. And I think as a mom, like sometimes you just have to bite your tongue and try to like hold your temper. And before you reply, if somebody says something that you don't like, it's like, okay, I gotta be gracious to this person, and if it's too much, just put them in their place. But like at the end of the day, you are your son's biggest advocate. And if you're pregnant and you know that your son is going to be born with cleft lip and palate, just keep praying about it, because you don't know where God is going to take you. You don't know where your son is going to be, because like he has a great future and he is a great mom, and you're blessed to be chosen to be her mom.